Greetings from Lenawee County in the great state of Michigan. I am the Lenawee Trucker. I have a little project today. I have one of these little buggers. Now, I got this on the condition that I would make a video about it. So, let's make a video about it. From what I can see, there are little tiny little screws. So I've got a little tiny Phillips head. Let's see, what is this one? P1. Now, this is one of the tiniest little Phillips head ones that I have. I've got a little slide rule to make sure my grip is the right size. Apparently, according to this chart, yeah, you can see there's supposed to be a certain size to it. So, now, naturally, I've already been out here and playing with it. And the thing goes right up. Come on. Goes right up there. You just kind of get it straight on there. Slide it straight off. And you come off with like something in the range of 3/16, 1 3/16. All right, I can live with that because, as you can see by the chart, again, you've got various different sizes, and this is part number PN, or part number 7CP05. So this one should do it. But from all the other videos I've seen, I haven't seen anybody putting in a 7CP05 on anything. I've seen the 7PC01 and 02, and they have a bracket that goes here. This one apparently doesn't have it. And I'm thinking this, now granted, I haven't gone into it yet, but I'm thinking this probably mounts to here. So I might have to change that to a longer bolt, possibly in there. So I've got that. Got my screwdriver. I've just confirmed that's the right one with this. And that bolt's probably a 10 millimeter. So for all of you who think I've lost my 10 millimeter, it's right there. This is the cramp buster that I got at STO last year. I put it on here. Believe me, this thing did work. Sitting here on the way home, riding like it, just holding my hand like that, and it was working just fine. So that's one thing, but it didn't lock the throttle. You still had to be in contact with the throttle. Now, for those of you who know, I've got a Kyoko on the Silverwing, and it does phenomenally. Only thing is, there's no, when you hit the brake, it stays locked. Oh, you can roll it on and off, but it stays locked. I want the one where you can hit the brake and it shuts it off. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to install that on this bike. So let's get in here and see what we can do. Ooh, that tore real easy. Cheap, cheap, cheap. I hear the birds. Okay, very nice. Very nice indeed. All right. It comes with instructions. Whoa, breezy day, breezy day. Okay, the BrakeAway thing comes with instructions. It comes with little Allen wrenches. it comes with little friction grips. Okay, I'll explain that hopefully when my camera charges back up and we can get that out here. But you can see here little indents in the friction all the way around the friction. Those line up with those little holes around the perimeter of this little bugger. So we'll get into that in a second. I gotta free that up, take a peek at that. Hang on. All right, here's the little bracket. You can see what we have here. All right, I want to also show you something here. This is a way of fine-tuning it. It puts a little bit more, oomph right here. And up inside of this piece, there is a little, one of these little things right here. One of these. Kind of up inside here. You loosen this, and you get one of the Allen wrenches, and you move this back and forth to basically do fine-tuning adjustments on it. This here is the release. Watch what happens. This opens up. This collar basically has friction on it. It will go right up against the inside of the throttle, and when you close it down with this piece right here, right where my thumb is, right here. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I better be able to do it. I only have one hand on the throttle. It closes it up. So this part right here sits under the brake. The brake comes into contact with this and and just kind of pops it down and opens it back up. Pretty simple device. Pretty straightforward, easy to understand. Hard to do it with one hand. And this piece here, it does go right in there, as I suspected. And this part mounts focus. That part mounts right there. So hopefully we'll have enough threaded rod sticking out the bottom of that thing to get that up on there. Those are the frictions. They give you various different sizes to basically work with. And here are the Allen screws. That's the screw that goes into here. First thing we got to do is, I'm thinking, let's get that little nut right out of there. Okay, let's just get that out of there. Come on, maybe that is that socket there is a 10 millimeter. And it doesn't. Okay. I can understand why that's on there. Oh yeah, that'll be plenty. Yeah, don't lose that. Remember where that is, because I'm going to ask you guys. There's going to be a test later. What did I do with that nut? Let's get these up out of here. Alright, now what we've got to do is we've got to determine which one of these is the right size to go on here. Oh, and I'm thinking this little cramp buster's probably got to come off of here. This helped me on my way home from STO last year. Helped me out tremendously, so I'm not going to dismiss it. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's like little dents all the way around this thing, right? And there's ones on the middle too. Now, we've got to line that up somehow. Okay. Now, it's got to fit on there. It's got to fit on there in such a way where it can be... Wow. Right out of the box. Where it can be tight and still allow the throttle to open and close. Now, there's going to be a little bit of a gap according to the instructions. So, let's try the second one. Nope. You see how the gap is closed and it's just flopping around? That, I'm willing to bet, is going to be way too big. Too much of a gap, and it's flopping, it won't work properly. And the other one, that last one is thinner than that one right there, so it's that one. Cool. So it's that one. It's that one. You get just a little bit of a gap there, as you can see, just a little bit of a gap, and it's under tight. It's not flopping around. It's not being crazy. Now, but what we got to do is we've got to take these screws off. Now, I'm not overly thrilled about doing that with this wind, but let's see if we can't do this without losing them. Because I'm thinking if I lose them, I'm SOL. All right. Now, that cap should just pop right off, and it does. Yay. As you can see how it works. It screws into this fitting here. All right, I get it. You can see the frictions on the inside. Now this piece is supposed to slide. Let's see. We want to make sure we don't. We want to make sure we don't come over that. And there you go. And that piece just moves, and you can see how it'll eventually get up there, and you want it set up so it just touches it. So I'll do that in a minute. I'll line those screws up with those little dents in the friction. Now we take the appropriate which one is it? We take the appropriate Allen screw or Allen wrench and tighten these little buggers down. Do it gently. You don't need... This isn't something where you're going to need to get your torque wrench out. I should hold it in place. As you can see, it went right over the lip and the wider part of the throttle grip. but it's not interfering with this. You don't want it to. I won't bet that would be bad. And there you go, the last one. Alright, there you go. I want that like that. I want it more centered. There's a gap on the top. I don't like that. Let's tighten it, not loosen it. Duh. Now, just gonna snug them up. No need for 9,000 pounds of torque. I mean, it's just holding a plastic piece on a rubber grip. I'm not going any further with that one. Or that one, I think. That was good. And that seems good. Now you can see the grip. It's turning. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's turning the inside. That part is done. And it's in the little dents. Yes, that's all I asked for. That's all I want. And these are just very fine thread, small threads. Put them in gently and start it slowly. If at all possible, if you can do this in a garage with a clean floor, that's helpful. That's tremendously helpful. There you go. See? It kind of stands out on a bike with a black handlebar, don't it? It does. Oh well. That's the worst of my problems today. I guess I'm doing okay. Alright, there you go. Snug them up. It's just going into plastic, folks. You don't need to put it up to 9,000 pounds foot pressure. But you do want it to stay in place. Now, you see how this works? Now, there you go. And that top one. Alright. Now, what we got to do, this is a little bracket that basically holds this bracket right here in place. Okay, let's get that out of the way there. That ain't it. That's it. There you go. Now, as you can see, we have all kinds of different ways we can do this. Now, this piece right here slips into this in the back. This little part sits right here, and there's a screw that's got to go in there. That screw is this right here. Just pop it up in there. Careful not to cross thread, as always. You know how easy that is. Now that that's not going to go anywhere, let's see how we can get that lined up. There you go. This is going to be a pain in the butt. I can see it already. All right, let's just... Let's see if I can't set this thing down so we can... Alright, we got that up in there. And I'm going to put this down and I'm going to put the nut on there to hold that in place. Alright, as you can see, I got the nut in place on it. Now, it's a matter of tightening these little wrenches down and making... Okay. Still wants to fight, does it? Okay, that's got to be able to come up. So, if that's going to come up, then those Alright, I'm going to need my little crescent wrench for this. Alright, now believe it or not, I have a wrench that will fit it. Look at that little bugger. Tiny little thing, ain't it? The other crescent wrenches don't fit. So, now we've got that loose. This can move around. And this part can move up and down. You want that little lever cam there to be just under the brake, and you want that black piece you want that black piece up in there. You want that black piece to be just barely touching it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten that down. I'm going to hold that in place, tighten that down, and then tighten down the brackets. Alright, I got it on. As you can see, the screw for this one right here is nowhere near accessible, so I had to take the whole assembly down and tighten it up the way it's supposed to be right there. I left one just a little bit loose, so I can move it around if I had to. Come on, get up in there, you. There you go. And... Alright. Now, as you can see, the bracket sits up underneath the thing. I used my little baby crescent wrench that was picked off the crescent wrench tree too soon, and I tightened it down. You basically hold the nut that's up under there. You can see it. Yeah, you can see it right there. And you put the Allen wrench, and you just bring that just so it barely comes into contact with the door. The door. All right, now as you can see right now, it's in place. I still have a throttle. Well, watch what happens when I hit the brake. It just pops right back. That's what you want to make sure, that pops right back. That's going to do you no good if that thing locks and stays locked. So, all right. And to engage it, what you do is you just kind of push down there. You want to release it, it's there. Excellent. And it doesn't interfere with the brakes. You want to make sure that's not up too high, because obviously if it does start interfering, oh, you know what? I forgot one more little itty bitty little thing here. I suppose it's a major thing. The anchor. Well, thought it'd be a lot easier than it was, but oh well. Such is life, right? And that thing's rock solid. Excellent, excellent. All right, as soon as the other one gets charged up, we'll do a ride test. All right, we've got her up and running. All right. Excellent. The acid test, obviously, will be when I put my butt on the seat, take it for a ride, and test it out. Alright, the camera is all charged up, and I am back up and running. I've got a whole 50-some odd minutes to play with on it. I went cheap and just kept the 4 gigabyte card that it came with. So hey, what do you want? But in keeping with my philosophy of you didn't finish your video, your modification video, unless you show it in action. There you go. It's on. It's in place. And I need to get out someplace where I can get some open spaces. Alright, as you can see right there, it's 45 miles an hour through here. So let's bring her up to speed. Alright. And engage. And now we go up to 55 miles an hour. Alright. Alright, not bad. Now, we can still roll the throttle off or roll it on. As you can see, it can still be used to roll off and on. But it is essentially locked right now. This right here is a release. Yeah, that right there is a release, and boy, it does work. Okay. But the beauty part of this cruise control is not necessarily that. Now we're engaged again. But the beauty part is this right here. And it does. It takes it out really nicely. There you go. See? Excellent. Yeah, it's still got a lot of play in that throttle. That's a video for another time, I guess. But one thing I will say that I really like about the BrakeAway Cruise Control, they call it a cruise control, but it's not an actual cruise control. It's not an actual cruise control per se, as in like maintaining a constant speed. It is a throttle lock. It will lock your throttle in place. When you're going downhill, you're going to have to still roll off the throttle a little bit. When you go uphill, you're going to have to increase the throttle a little bit. All it really is a throttle lock. This inner piece here has a bracket that gets bolted to the bottom of the brake handle. There's a bolt, there's a nut that goes right through, comes out through the bottom, and the bracket gets anchored there. Cool. And that's what keeps this thing from moving around. Also, when you put that bracket on, now I used to have a lot of play going back and forth like that. It's gone now. I like that. I got fairly lucky on this. I only had to make a fine-tuning adjustment on the little Allen screw that's in the back. I didn't have to do anything from up underneath. So I got pretty lucky. I'm happy. So now she's outfitted with a cruise control or throttle lock, however you want to call it. And and nowhere to go. Well, that's basically it for it. Not much more you can do to it. Those little holes right there align with the screws, so if you have to tighten it down or they back out, you can tighten them down again. Alright folks, there you have it. That is BrakeAway Motorcycle Cruise Control. The one for the Silver Wings will work on the Honda Forza. At least on a 2015 Honda Forza. Granted, getting the anchor bracket mounted just right, tightened back down, that was a bit of a pain in the ass, but it finally did. That's been sitting there for sale for the last century and a half, so I don't know, I don't think it's going to go.